has to be more than this. Maybe the next one. Maybe I'm waiting for the wrong ride.
I've been waiting for you.
I feel like
You do. Every path has been leading you here.
I never imagined the world could be this beautiful.
Sometimes
It's so much bigger than I ever imagined.
every heart holds more worlds than it can see.
Hello, everybody. I'm Joe Bandel, and welcome back to Oak AI Story Lab. This is Lesson 11, Visual Callbacks. But before I even start the little lesson plan that I'm reading here, I want to go back and I want to say where we started at, and some of the things that I really think are so important that we might not ordinarily think of. And what I'm going to mention is I'm working with 10-second clips, video clips. I'm working with these video clips through Imagine with the Grok connection. And the reason that I do that is, well, for one thing, even though they're not the highest resolution, like the highest we can get is 720, I believe it is. But that's high enough for YouTube, and that's where I'm trying to put things.
The sentinel stirs tonight. I feel its ancient heart. We are blessed by its presence.
But the point that I'm getting at is, go ahead and watch a TV show. I don't care what TV show it is. You're going to pay attention to the clips, to where the camera changes. And what you're going to find the camera does not stay very long in one spot, even in a discussion. Uh, it'll switch to a face, it'll switch to uh, a different position looking at the same person, or it'll switch to the person who's listening, or it'll switch to a, it's constantly changing. Now, there's times, for example, the video that I'm presenting right now. I'm not doing anything fancy here. So I'm sitting here and I'm talking. I'm going to be talking about 15 minutes or so, something like that. But I'm going to break it up a little later as I start to add things to it. So this is kind of like not the rule. But if you're looking at a television show or a movie, you're going to see the small clips. And most of them, I'm willing to believe, because this is what I've found, most of them are not much longer than a 10-second clip. So all of these people that are trying, they have it in their heads, hey, I want to be able to make a 15-minute movie or some video like that. That serves its purposes. But when it comes to storytelling, that's not the way it works. Okay, so if you feel limited with a 10-second clip or a 6-second clip or whatever it is, you shouldn't, you don't, for storytelling purposes, you don't need that. And what I started doing, what I ended up doing was I started working with these 10-second clips because that's what I had available to me. And I'm beginning to realize how valuable and important that really is. And for example, I started out, okay, how do I illustrate my deck of tarot cards, the Oak Tarot of Love and Romance? And so I had to create a digital image that was exactly what I needed for that card, for that. And there's 78 cards in the tarot deck. So I started doing that, and I was learning as I go on how to work with this. The next step was I had the whole deck done. I even had ordered a deck, a physical deck. I got a physical deck that was working, and I was like, now I want to, let me go ahead and can I animate each card? I'm not going to do anything crazy. I'm going to animate it with a 10-second video clip. And I went through each of the 78 cards and I created a 10-second video clip. But what's interesting was in the process of doing that, I learned how to put things into a 10-second clip. So if you're interested in movies, if you're interested in storytelling, you need to learn how to put things into that 10-second clip and then hook them together so that you get the story that you want. And so I went through all 78 cards, animated cards, and then I said, you know what? Now I'm going to try to work with creating a scene. And the difference between a clip and a scene is a clip is a moment in time. It's a action or a feeling or a sensation. it's a focus point. 10 seconds and it's gone. Okay, but a scene can last for a minute. So and it has many different things happening at a particular point in time. So suddenly the Oak AI Story Lab work went through these stages. One was creating the images themselves. Then it was animating a 10-second clip. Now, what I've been doing and trying to do and just trying to master is a 6-clip scene. Nothing more, nothing less. Trying to focus and learn how to do that in a reliable manner. So I'm just sharing that that's kind of how it goes. And in a lot of these, you're going to be seeing some of the mistakes that I've made, things that didn't go right or that I had to really struggle with. And you're going to see some things that are actually fairly cool, I hope. And as we get better, I'll be sharing a little more like what I'm doing right now. So anyway, this the lesson 11 here, and now to get into that, visual callbacks. A visual callback is actually the only way you would be using that would be in some kind of a scene or switching from one scene to another. And a visual callback is, let's say you want to know what your house looked like on a warm sunny day. You take the same picture of what your house would look like in the middle of the winter covered with snow, or that same porch or doorway when the rain's running down outside or it's nighttime and the light's lit or something like that. How would you make them all be the same so that they don't change even though everything around them is changing? The answer to that is using these appropriate reference frames, reference stills, because you can take the reference still, the appropriate reference still, and add to it. Because for the purpose of making movies and things like that, the reference still represents the world. And you can tell an AI, okay, this image is the world as it exists. I realize it's in the summertime. I want you to take that world and make it into a wintertime picture or a wintertime world. And it'll do that. That's what it does. But first you want to make it, you want to bring in the reference still. So you want to create a new reference still from an old one and work from that point on. And in working with these reference stills and trying to go through past video clips to find a good image of what I want to move forward, I've learned that, well, it seems like it's a lot of work to go through a video clip to find a single frame to use as a reference. It doesn't cost you anything other than time.
Welcome, seekers of truth. With this sword of light, we cut through illusion. Let discernment and integrity guide your path.
If you're constantly generating new image clips or even new video clips, if you're paying for those tokens and you're paying for that you're using up an enormous amount of resources. So I'm just kind of saying that. So callbacks, it's going back to, so anyway, today I'm going to go to my script and we'll read it through. Then I'm going to go back and I'm going to add in some material. Today I'd like to talk about one of my favorite cinematic techniques, visual callbacks. A visual callback is something the audience has seen before. It quietly returns later in the story. In the story, see, if this is a one-shot thing, you're not going to be using it. It's a story. Not because it's repeated, because it has meaning. Think about real life. Certain places become familiar. A favorite chair, a well-worn path, an old oak tree. When we see them again, we don't simply recognize them. We remember how we felt the last time we were there. Movies work the same way. The strongest visual callbacks are often the simplest ones. The same forest, the same doorway, the same window, the same horse waiting patiently, the same beam of moonlight. These images become emotional anchors. As filmmakers, we don't have to explain them. The audience already understands. While creating AI movies, I discovered that continuity makes visual callbacks possible. If the world keeps changing, nothing can become familiar. But when the world remains consistent, every return carries emotional meaning. The audience begins to feel at home. Do you see what we're talking about? It's not the character. It's not the character. It's returning to the same place in the world. It's a lot more than that goes into the story than just a character, okay? The audience begins to feel at home. I've also learned that visual callbacks should evolve. The same oak tree may appear many times, but the light changes, the weather changes, the season changes. Most importantly, the character changes. The tree stays true to itself while reflecting the journey that has taken place around it. That's what gives the callback its emotional power. One of the beautiful things about AI filmmaking is that we can intentionally preserve these recurring elements. The same location, the same objects, the same camera angle, the same composition. When they return naturally, the audience experiences a quiet sense of recognition. Not because we told them to remember, because the story remembered. This is today's lesson. Don't fill every scene with something new. Sometimes the most powerful image is one the audience has already seen. When a familiar image returns at exactly the right emotional moment, the story gains depth without saying a single word. That's the quiet power of visual callbacks. I'll see you in the next lesson. Thanks. And have fun working with your own micro movies. Thank you.